Chosen one. Heaven has paused. You're scrolling because there is something you need to hear right now. You are not ordinary. You were never placed here by accident. Before your parents even knew your name, before your first breath filled your lungs, you were marked by God as one who would carry a reflection of Christ himself. You are the second copy of Jesus, not in flesh, but in divine assignment, in heavenly power, and in eternal destiny. That is why you feel different. Why your spirit refuses to settle in places where others are content. From the very beginning, the fingerprints of heaven were pressed into your soul. Your life has been surrounded by strange protection, sudden escapes, unexplained survivals. You look back and wonder how you made it out of certain battles. Why death could not claim you. Why despair never drowned you. It is because you carry within you something too valuable to be stolen. The enemy has always seen your light, even when you couldn't. And so the attacks against you were not random. They were targeted strikes against destiny. Chosen one. You are not like the rest. You were born with a divine seal, a heavenly echo of Christ's mission. That's why you cannot blend in. That's why comfort never satisfies you. Your spirit longs for more, because eternity is stamped within you. Do you feel it? That inner pull, that restlessness, that holy hunger that no earthly pleasure can fill. That is the whisper of God reminding you, you are a vessel of divine power. Even your pain carries purpose. Every sleepless night, every tear in secret, every rejection that cut you deeply, it all carved the likeness of Jesus into you. The Son of God himself was despised, misunderstood, and pushed aside. And so when people overlooked you, when they mocked your faith, when they cast you aside, it wasn't because you were worthless, it was because you were reflecting him. The rejection you felt was confirmation that you are chosen. The Word of God declares in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13, I can do all things through Christ, who gives me strength. That same truth thunders over your life right now. You are marked before birth. You were designed to carry a message that this world desperately needs. You carry more than blood in your veins. You carry prophecy. You walk with more than footsteps. You walk with heaven's mandate. Every time you choose kindness when others choose cruelty, you echo Christ. Every time you forgive instead of holding revenge, you mirror him. Every time you step into faith instead of fear, you are living proof that Jesus is alive in you. And here is the mystery. Chosen one, because you are a reflection of Jesus. Darkness trembles when you rise. The enemy knows that if you ever fully grasp who you are, entire atmospheres will shift, families will be freed, generational chains will snap, cities will feel the ripple of your obedience. You are not just surviving, you are being positioned to walk in authority. That is why the attacks have been so fierce. That is why loneliness has followed you. That is why your heart has carried weights that others around you cannot even understand. You have been carrying the mantle of a chosen one, the burden of divine calling. But hear this, you are not alone. Heaven stands behind you. The Spirit that rested on Jesus rests on you now. So listen carefully, do not waste this moment. Heaven has orchestrated this very encounter because your time is coming. Your hidden years are ending. The world is about to see the Christ-likeness within you break forth like light. Step boldly. Lift your head high. You were never meant to hide. You are a torchbearer, a carrier of divine fire. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms Chapter 23, verse 4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. That truth is your anchor, your shield, your unshakable promise. Beloved, if these words burn in your spirit, do not stay silent. Share this message so that other chosen ones can awaken. Press like if your heart knows this is for you. And subscribe right now so you remain connected to every divine release poured out here. And as a prophetic act of faith, type the number 777 inch the comments below, heaven's number of completion, declaring that your season of hiding is ending and your season of unveiling is here. Chosen one. Rejection has followed you like a shadow. Yet you must know, it was never meant to break you, it was meant to mark you. Every no you heard, every door that slammed in your face, every person who walked away, it all echoed the path of Jesus himself. He too was rejected, despised, and misunderstood. But rejection never defined him, it refined him. And the same is true for you. You've asked questions in the secret place of your heart. Why do they not see me? Why do people leave when I love the deepest? Why does it seem like I carry burdens no one else carries? Beloved, the reason is simple. You were cut from a different cloth. You were not designed for mass approval. You were shaped for divine assignment. And those who are shaped for assignment will never fit the mold of the crowd. Look carefully at the life of Jesus. The very ones who should have recognized him, who should have celebrated his coming, were the ones who mocked him, plotted against him, and cast him aside. The Pharisees studied the scriptures daily, yet could not see the living word in front of them. His neighbors saw his humanity, yet missed his divinity. And so too with you, many will see the outward version of you, but they cannot discern the treasure you carry within. Your rejections have been holy confirmations. Each abandonment has been a prophetic signpost pointing to your destiny. If you had been celebrated too soon, you would have been trapped in comfort. If everyone had accepted you, you would have blended into places you were never meant to remain. Instead, God allowed rejection to carve out your uniqueness, so that when he lifts you, no man will be able to claim the credit. Chosen one, consider how your heart has grown resilient in the fire of rejection. The tears you cried became oil for your anointing. The lonely nights became classrooms where heaven whispered secrets to your spirit. The betrayals you endured birthed compassion and discernment within you. Without rejection, you would not carry the depth of Christ's likeness that now rests upon you. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 11, "Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil because of me." Let this holy truth settle into your soul. Rejection is not evidence that you are forgotten. It is evidence that you are chosen. Fear will whisper that you are not enough. But heaven declares you are equipped with love, with power, and with clarity of mind. Think of Joseph, thrown into a pit by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and forgotten in prison. Every rejection he faced was not the end of his story, it was preparation for his throne. Without the pit, he would never have reached the palace. Without betrayal, he would never have had the authority to save nations. Your journey echoes the same pattern, because the Spirit of Christ within you redeems every rejection and turns it into elevation. Sometimes, Those who reject you are not your enemies, but your teachers. Their departure reveals who cannot walk with you to the next chapter. Their silence creates the space for you to hear God more clearly. Their disbelief forces you to believe in the one who sent you. Do not curse the rejection. Chosen one. Embrace it as a sculptor's tool, shaping the vessel of your destiny. Remember how Jesus stood before the crowd. The same voices that once cried, "Hosanna," now shouting, "Crucify him." Rejection was his portion. Yet glory was his destiny. And because you carry his image, you too will walk this path. The world may push you aside, but heaven is positioning you at the center of its plan. People may not recognize you now, but your time of unveiling is near. Chosen one, I tell you with certainty, rejection is redirection. When doors close, it is because God is steering you toward the one door that cannot be shut. When people leave, it is because heaven wants you free of distractions. When love is withheld, it is because you are being drawn to the only source of love that never fails. So lift your head high, even in the memory of past heartbreaks. Wear your scars not as signs of defeat, but as evidence of survival. Each wound you carry is proof that you walked the same path as your Savior. Each tear you shed has been collected in heaven's jar. And when the time comes, those who once rejected you will marvel, not at your strength, but at the Christ who lives through you. Chosen one, take courage. You were never forsaken. You were never abandoned. You were being set apart. Rejection was not your ending, it was your beginning. And as surely as Christ rose after being cast aside, so too will you rise into the fullness of your divine power. Chosen one, you have wondered why your life seemed hidden, why it felt like years passed with no spotlight, no applause, no stage. But heaven wants you to understand, this was never a punishment. It was divine design. Just as Jesus spent his hidden years before stepping into public ministry, so too have you been kept in the secret place. Those silent seasons were not wasted. They were your foundation. Think of it. 30 years of Jesus' life were wrapped in silence. No recorded miracles. No sermons to the multitudes. No recognition. He lived in obedience, in humility, in preparation. And then suddenly, when the heavens opened and the Spirit descended, his true mission was revealed. That same pattern is stitched into your story. The silence you endured was never God's absence. It was his careful preparation of your soul. You may have felt forgotten, overlooked, even abandoned. People passed you by. Opportunities slipped through your hands. And doors that seemed perfect refused to open. Yet, all the while, heaven was writing your training manual. You were learning patience when others rushed ahead. You were cultivating depth when others were chasing popularity. You were being carved into a vessel strong enough to carry the weight of glory. Chosen one. Hiddenness is heaven's way of protecting destiny. Seeds must first be buried before they break forth into life. The darkness of the soil is not their grave. It is their womb. And in the same way, your hidden years have been your womb of destiny. You were buried, but not dead. You were concealed, but not forgotten. You were being watered by the Spirit, strengthened by trials, rooted in faith, until the moment of divine unveiling. Do you see it now? Your silence was training. Your obscurity was protection. Your waiting was God's design. If He had unveiled you too soon, the weight of public pressure would have crushed what was still forming in private. But because you endured the hidden years, you will stand unshakable when your light finally shines. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 8, verse 18 declare, "I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us." This is not just Paul's declaration, it is a mirror of your story. The hidden suffering you've endured will pale compared to the glory about to break forth through you. Think back, chosen one, to the countless moments when you asked, "Why me? Why am I stuck here? Why is nothing changing?" Heaven's answer resounds now, because you were in the process. A diamond does not shine without pressure. Gold does not gleam without fire. And you, beloved, could not be unveiled without first being refined in secret. This is why comparison must die in your heart. Do not measure your pace against others who seem to run ahead. Do not envy those who appeared to bloom before you. Flowers that bloom too quickly often fade too soon. But those rooted deep can withstand every storm. You are one of those deeply rooted ones. Even now, heaven whispers, your hidden years are coming to an end. The same way Jesus stepped out of obscurity into a ministry that shook the earth. You too will step into visibility, carrying a mantle that terrifies darkness and comforts the broken. What once felt like delay will prove to be divine acceleration. But here is the key. You must embrace your story. Do not resent the hidden years. Do not despise the silence. Wear them as your crown, for they are proof of heaven's careful preparation. When the time of unveiling comes, you will not tremble, because your character has already been tested in the dark. You will not crumble, because your roots are deeper than storms. Chosen one, I want you to pause and make this moment an altar. Heaven has spoken to you about your hidden years. Now it is time to respond. Write your declaration below as a prophetic act of faith. Type these simple words: I am ready. Do you see the weight of those three words? They are not empty. They are not casual. They are your announcement to heaven and to hell alike. When you declare, I am ready, you are aligning your spirit with the timing of God. You are saying, Lord, I will not resent what you allowed. I embrace my hidden years. And now I rise into what you prepared me for. Olu, type it with conviction. Let it seal in your heart what heaven is speaking now. Your hidden years are not wasted. They are the reason you will stand strong in your season of unveiling. Chosen one, your time is near. You were hidden, but only so that you could be revealed in fullness. Chosen one, now you must see clearly why the darkness has always feared you. From your earliest days, the weight of opposition has pressed against your life, not because you were weak, but because the mark you carry is radiant. The very spirit that raised Jesus Christ from the grave rests within you. That power is not symbolic. It is real, and the enemy trembles at its presence. Understand this: your authority does not come from the applause of people, nor from the titles you may or may not hold. It comes from the seal of God upon your spirit. When Jesus walked the earth, demons recognized him before men did. They cried out, begging him not to torment them, because they saw in him the authority of heaven. You, too, carry that reflection, even when you say nothing. Even when you enter a room silently, the atmosphere shifts. Darkness senses the fire you hold. The struggles you have faced were never random. They were strategic attacks against your authority. The enemy tried to silence you, to chain your voice, to shatter your confidence, because he knew that if you ever discovered who you truly are, you would walk with unstoppable power. But what he meant for evil has only sharpened your resolve. Every storm you endured has become a weapon in your hands. Every tear you shed has watered the soil of your anointing. Chosen one, you need to realize, authority is not a future promise. It is your present reality. You are not waiting to receive it. You already carry it. When you pray, heaven moves. When you resist, darkness flees. When you declare truth, lies crumble. The same Spirit that gave Jesus dominion now breathes through you. That is why oppression cannot hold you. Why curses cannot bind you. Why fear cannot enslave you. Do not underestimate the weight of what you carry. You are a walking contradiction to the plans of hell. Your very existence disrupts schemes designed generations before you were born. You are not only fighting for yourself, but for those who come after you. Your authority extends beyond your own life. It becomes a shield for your family, a light for your community, and a doorway for others to encounter freedom, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verse 19, I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions, and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. These words were not just given to the disciples long ago, they echo through eternity to you. Chosen and sealed by God. Think of the countless moments when fear tried to paralyze you. Yet even in trembling, you pressed forward. That is authority. Consider the nights you prayed with no one watching, and peace descended. That is authority. Remember the times you resisted temptation when giving in would have been easier. That too is authority. Each act of obedience, each moment of faith, is evidence that the Spirit of Christ is alive in you. Authority is not loud, though at times it roars. Often it is quiet strength, unshakable confidence, the kind of peace that confuses your enemies. Jesus stood silent before Pilate, yet his silence carried more weight than Pilate's accusations. You too carry that kind of presence, unseen yet undeniable, hidden yet powerful. Chosen one, never again believe the lie that you are powerless. Never again bow to the fear that tells you you are small. You were designed to walk in dominion, and this dominion is not about pride or control, but about serving as a vessel of heaven's will. The authority within you is meant to break chains, heal wounds, and release light in places of suffocating darkness. Even now, as you hear these words, something within you awakens. A boldness begins to rise, not from arrogance, but from recognition. You are not an imposter. You are not pretending. You are who God says you are. The Spirit of Christ within you is real, tangible, unstoppable, and the darkness knows it. Chosen one, step fully into this awareness. Walk not with hesitation, but with the certainty of one who knows they carry heaven's fire. When you speak, let your words carry life. When you pray, let your prayers strike like arrows. When you move, let every step declare, the kingdom of God is here. This is your authority, and nothing in hell can strip it away. Chosen one, do you realize the atmosphere you carry when you step into a room? It is as though the air changes. Conversations slow down, hearts soften, and something unseen stirs. This is not coincidence. It is because you walk as a vessel of heaven. Where others bring noise, you bring stillness. Where others bring confusion, you carry clarity. Where despair hovers, you arrive with a fragrance of hope. Your very presence disrupts the workings of hell. It is like a candle lit in a dark room. The shadows cannot argue with its flame. They must retreat. And that is what happens when you walk into places where heaviness, anger, or bitterness have made their home. Without needing to announce yourself, your light speaks. It unsettles what is hidden and awakens what is holy. Chosen one. You are not just living life, you are hosting an atmosphere. The Word of God declares in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." That light is not merely around you, it is in you. It radiates from your spirit because you are carrying the reflection of Christ himself. Think of how Jesus entered a village. Crowds gathered without invitation. The sick pressed forward for healing. Demons cried out in fear. His presence shifted the balance of power instantly. And now, because you bear his likeness, the same dynamic unfolds wherever you go. People may not understand why they feel peace near you, why they feel convicted in your silence, why they feel hope rekindled after speaking with you. It is because the divine atmosphere you carry cannot be hidden. But chosen one, carrying heaven's atmosphere, is not light work. It requires endurance. It requires sacrifice. And it requires faithful vessels who will continue walking even when the weight is heavy. Imagine a torchbearer running through the night. The torch burns bright, but it consumes the bearer's strength. To keep the flame alive, the runner must be supported, encouraged, sustained, and covered by others who believe in the journey. And here is where I must speak to your heart with honesty. Just as you are pouring out, carrying light into places of darkness, this mission too requires a family of support. Every word spoken here, every message released, is like seed scattered into fertile soil, but even the soil must be watered to produce harvest. If these messages have stirred your spirit, if you have felt heaven's presence in them, then I invite you to walk closer, not as a listener only, but as a supporter. When you like, it is as though you place another drop of oil upon this flame, helping it burn brighter in the sight of others. When you share, it is like taking your own torch and carrying this light into places I cannot reach alone. And when you subscribe, you are not just clicking a button, you are stepping into the family of those who walk together as chosen ones. And yes, if your heart is stirred, even your giving becomes part of this holy work. Think of it not as money leaving your hand, but as water poured into a well. Each drop you release helps the well stay full, so others who are thirsty may drink. Without water, the well runs dry, but with faithful drops, it never ceases to overflow. In the same way, your donations, given freely and sincerely, sustain the flow of these words, ensuring the flame of encouragement continues to reach those still stumbling in the dark. Chosen one. There is no pressure here, only invitation. The light you carry already proves you are part of something greater. But if you sense the Spirit nudging you, do not resist. Every act of support, whether a like, a share, a subscription, or even a gift, becomes your way of declaring, "This flame must not go out. This message must not stop." I know life can be heavy. I know you carry your own burdens. But when you choose to lift others, heaven always makes sure you are lifted too. Just as the boy's small loaves and fish fed thousands when placed in Jesus' hands, so your seemingly small act of support can feed souls you may never meet in this life. Chosen one. Never underestimate the power of unity. Light is brighter when flames gather. A single spark can warm, but a fire can transform entire landscapes. You are part of this fire, and your presence here proves it. So, walk boldly, knowing your very breath carries heaven's atmosphere. And if your spirit is stirred, act, whether by pressing like, by sharing with one soul who needs to hear, by subscribing to Journey Deeper, or by watering the well through giving. Every act matters. Every flame counts. And together, we become a blaze that darkness cannot withstand. Chosen one. There is a mystery you must understand. The crown and the cross always walk together. You cannot carry the glory of Christ without first walking through the weight of suffering. This is not punishment. It is the very proof that you are walking the same road he walked. Heaven does not waste pain. Every trial you have endured, every burden you have carried, is shaping the crown that awaits you. Think of how Jesus himself wore a crown of thorns before the crown of glory. Pain preceded exaltation. Humiliation came before resurrection. The world mocked him, yet the Father lifted him. And now, because you are marked as his reflection, your story echoes the same rhythm. Before your rising comes refining. Before your breakthrough comes breaking. Before your coronation comes crushing, you have asked, "Why must I suffer so deeply? Why must my heart feel pain others cannot understand?" Beloved, it is because your destiny is heavier, your assignment greater. The oil that flows from your life is pressed from places of suffering. The authority you carry is forged in fires of affliction. Without the cross, there is no crown. And you, chosen one, are called to wear both. Consider the Apostle Paul. He was caught up to heavenly visions, yet also struck with a thorn in his flesh. He carried revelation that shook the world, yet also endured prisons, beatings, and betrayals. His crown was bright, but his cross was heavy, and yet, through it all, his spirit declared, "I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength." These ancient words in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13, were not shallow optimism. They were the cry of one who had tasted both pain and glory. Chosen one, the same cry belongs to you. You have been through valleys of loss. You have stood in seasons of confusion. You have been crushed under weights that seemed unbearable, yet you are still here. Not because of your own strength, but because the Christ within you carried you. And if he has carried you this far, he will not abandon you now. The crown is not far. The very trials that tried to bury you are proof that glory is on the horizon. The enemy would not fight you so hard if there was nothing ahead to fear. Every tear you sowed is a seed. Every battle you endured is a prophecy. Every scar you bear is a testimony. You are walking toward a coronation moment, when what was hidden will be revealed. When the heaviness of the cross gives way to the brilliance of the crown. But listen carefully, do not despise your cross. Do not curse the very path that is preparing your glory. The weight you carry today is building the strength to hold tomorrow's victory. If your journey had been easy, your faith would have been shallow. If your battles had been few, your authority would be weak. But because you have endured much, you will shine brighter. It is like gold in the fire. The hotter the flames, the purer the shine. You have been in the fire, chosen one, but not to be destroyed, to be refined. And soon, when people look at you, they will not see just your scars. They will see the reflection of Christ shining through them. Remember, the crown and the cross are inseparable. Do not seek one and reject the other. Embrace both, for in both is your calling revealed. When you carry the cross with humility, you will wear the crown with honor. When you accept the pain, you will inherit the glory. Now, beloved, I invite you to mark this moment with faith. Just as heaven uses symbols, we too declare our agreement through prophetic signs. Type the number 444 in the comments below. This is not random, it is a symbol. 4 is the number of foundation, the corners of the earth, the stability of creation. By writing it, you declare, Lord, even in my suffering, I am being established. My cross will not break me, it will build me. My crown is secure. Now, type it boldly, not as a ritual, but as an act of alignment. Let it be your seal in this moment. You will carry your cross without fear, knowing the crown is coming. Chosen one, your pain has purpose. Your scars are sacred. Your journey is holy. Wear both the cross and the crown, for in you the likeness of Christ is revealed. Chosen one, there is a voice that has followed you all your life. Sometimes it is a whisper in the silence. Sometimes a conviction in your chest. Sometimes an unexplainable tug pulling you away from what seemed comfortable. That voice is not your imagination. It is the Spirit of God living within you, just as Jesus, in the Garden of Gethsemane, heard the Father's voice urging him to surrender. So too you are guided by that inner compass. It is not always loud, not always dramatic. Often it is a gentle nudge, a quiet stirring that says, do not go there, or wait, or speak now. This is the divine dialogue between your spirit and the Spirit of God. You are not left to wander without guidance. Heaven has placed a navigator within you, leading you into obedience, protecting you from traps, and reminding you of who you are. But obedience is not always easy. Jesus himself felt the weight of struggle when he prayed, "If it is possible, let this cup pass from me." Yet in the same breath, he declared, "Not my will, but yours be done." That is the tension every chosen one must face, the clash between human desire and divine purpose. The voice within often calls you to paths that stretch you, to decisions that cost you, to sacrifices that others may never understand. Chosen one, think of the times you ignored that voice. You walked into situations your spirit had already warned you about, and afterward, you felt the sting of regret, not because God abandoned you, but because his whisper had already shown you a better way. Yet even in those moments, grace covered you. The Spirit did not silence himself, but kept speaking, drawing you back to the Father's heart. You must understand that this voice is not meant to control you, but to align you. It is like a shepherd guiding sheep away from cliffs and into pastures. You still have freedom, but your true life flourishes When you heed his guidance, every no the Spirit speaks is a shield. Every wait is protection. Every go is empowerment. And when you follow, even into places that look uncertain, you discover treasures you could not have found on your own. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah. Chapter 30, verse 21. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it. This is your reality." Chosen one, you are never abandoned to guesswork. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the grave is alive in you, whispering direction, reminding you of truth, and anchoring you in God's will. At times, this voice will convict you sharply, cutting through your excuses and exposing the motives of your heart. Do not resist this holy conviction. Conviction is not condemnation, it is mercy. It is heaven's way of pulling you back before destruction overtakes you. Where condemnation says, "You are finished," conviction says, "Come home," where shame whispers, "You are ruined." Conviction calls, "You are still mine." I, chosen one. You carry something precious, the indwelling Spirit of God. Do not silence him with noise. Do not drown him out with distractions. Make room for his whispers in your daily life, in the stillness of prayer, in the quiet of Scripture, in the pauses of your day. Listen. The more you listen, the clearer his voice becomes. And when you obey, something powerful happens. Peace floods your spirit. Even when the path is hard, strength fills your heart. Even when the cost is high, and you begin to see that obedience is not loss but gain. Jesus' surrender in Gethsemane led to the salvation of the world. Your obedience, though it may seem small, may unlock freedom for others, blessings for generations, and breakthroughs beyond what you could imagine. Do not think of obedience as chains, it is wings. When you align with the Spirit's voice, you soar above traps, above lees, above limitations. You live not bound to earthly patterns, but lifted into heavenly perspective. That is why darkness fears your obedience, because when you obey, heaven moves through you. Chosen one, treasure the voice within. Guard it, honor it, yield to it. For it is not just a whisper, it is the breath of God guiding your steps. The same Spirit who led Jesus will lead you not into destruction, but into destiny. Chosen one, you must realize that miracles are not distant memories of an ancient age. They are not relics of the past, sealed away in Scripture for you to admire but never touch. No, miracles are the living breath of God, and they are attracted to you because you are His vessel. Wherever you walk, heaven carries the potential to break into the natural. Wherever you open your mouth in faith, chains can shatter. Wherever you lift your hands, impossible walls can fall. Jesus himself declared that those who believe in him will not only witness his works, but will also do greater things. This was not a poetic exaggeration. It was a promise, a prophecy of what the Spirit would accomplish through his chosen ones. You carry within you that same promise. Miracles are not meant to be distant spectacles for others to perform. They are woven into your very calling. Think of how Christ moved. Blind eyes opened. The lame walked. Storms bowed at his command. And even the dead rose. Every miracle he performed was not only a revelation of his divinity, but also a demonstration of the authority he would one day share with his followers. That means you, chosen one, when you step into faith, when you dare to believe beyond what your eyes see, you open the door for heaven's power to manifest. But miracles are not always grand spectacles. Some are quiet, almost invisible to others, yet earth-shaking in impact. A heart healed of bitterness, a mind restored from despair, a soul pulled back from the edge of darkness. These are miracles as surely as the parting of seas. And you, with the Spirit of Christ within, are chosen to be a vessel of both kinds, the wonders that astonish crowds and the silent works that transform hearts. Chosen one. Do you notice how people are drawn to you with their pain? How strangers sometimes share burdens with you they would not reveal to others? This is not random, it is divine alignment. They sense the presence of God in you, the possibility of healing, the whisper of hope. You may think you are merely listening, but in those moments, heaven is already at work. Your words of comfort, your prayers of faith, your willingness to stand with the broken, all of these open the channel for miracles to flow. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. This is the essence of miracles. They are not born from human striving, but from divine intervention. You are not called to manufacture them. You are called to host them. When you yield, when you trust, when you step aside and let God move through you, the impossible becomes possible. Yet, remember this, miracles are not about spectacle or self-glory. They are signs pointing back to the Father. Jesus himself often silenced those who would spread news of his wonders prematurely, because the miracle was never about fame, but about revealing God's heart. So too, when miracles flow through you, they will not be for your boasting, but for heaven's glory. Chosen one. There will be moments where faith will ask you to step out boldly. You may feel unprepared, unworthy, or fearful. But in those moments, remember this: miracles are not about your adequacy. They are about his sufficiency. The same Spirit that turned water into wine, that calmed raging seas, that raised Lazarus from the grave, is alive in you. When you step in faith, heaven steps with you. Do not despise the small miracles either. When you wake with strength after a night of despair, that is a miracle. When provision comes unexpectedly in your need, that is a miracle. When peace fills you in the middle of chaos, that is a miracle. The more you recognize them, the more you realize you are already living in the flow of God's wonders, and there is more to come. For you have not yet seen the fullness of what God intends to reveal through your life. The hidden years of preparation, the refining through rejection, the shaping through suffering, all of it has been building a vessel strong enough to carry his glory. And when the time of unveiling comes, miracles will follow you, not because you seek them, but because they are drawn to the presence of Christ in you. Chosen one. Live with expectation. Miracles are not accidents. They are your inheritance. Walk with faith, and you will see them unfold. Speak with authority, and you will watch them manifest. Yield with humility, and you will know that the same hand that parted seas and raised the dead is still moving, still working, still choosing to flow through you. Chosen one. You were not only called to walk in light for yourself, you were chosen to break chains that bound your family line for generations. You have felt it, haven't you? That sense that you carry burdens not entirely your own. Patterns of addiction, cycles of poverty, waves of brokenness, shadows of despair, they seem to hover over your bloodline, repeating again and again. But heaven raised you as the interruption. You are the breaker, the one who carries Christ's power to end what others could not. This is why your struggles felt heavier than those around you. You were wrestling not only with your own battles, but with chains that had wrapped themselves around your lineage for decades. Even centuries. While others surrendered to the cycle, something in you refused. You could not explain why you hated what others tolerated, why you resisted what others embraced. It was the Spirit of Christ in you, roaring against generational chains. Remember the cross. Jesus did not only break personal sin, he shattered the curse that bound humanity since Eden. He stood as the one who carried the weight of generations and broke its power forever. Because you are marked as his reflection, your life follows the same pattern. Your obedience becomes the key that unlocks freedom for those behind you. Your yes to God becomes the axe at the root of generational trees that bore bitter fruit. The ancient words recorded in Galatians, chapter 3, verse 13. Declare, Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law by becoming a curse for us. If Christ has already carried the curse, then you, his reflection, carry authority to enforce that victory in your bloodline. You do not fight for freedom, you fight from freedom. The chains are already broken in the spirit. Your obedience manifests that reality in the natural. Think of Abraham. His obedience became the foundation of a nation. Think of Joseph. His endurance broke famine's hold and saved his family. Think of Esther. Her courage ended a decree of death. Chosen one. You stand in that same lineage of chain breakers. You are not small, not insignificant. You are the hinge upon which generations will turn. And yes, the cost is real. Chain breakers often walk lonely roads. You may have felt misunderstood by your own family, resisted by those you loved most, even accused of being different in ways they could not name. But what felt like isolation was actually separation, God setting you apart so you could see what others could not. The fire on your life was never meant to blend, it was meant to burn. Chosen one. Here is the truth. When you pray, you are not just whispering words, you are shifting the trajectory of bloodlines. When you refuse the temptations that trapped your ancestors, you are declaring a new inheritance. When you speak truth where generations lived in lies, you are sowing seeds of freedom your children and their children will reap. This is why hell has fought you so viciously. The enemy is terrified of a chosen one who knows their authority. Because if you ever truly believe that you are a chain breaker, entire family trees will bear new fruit. And once you break the cycle, it cannot return. Light, once lit, cannot be swallowed by darkness. So, beloved, let this moment become a declaration. As a prophetic act, write in the comments, chains are broken, just 3 words. But when you type them, you are not just writing letters, you are declaring war against cycles that tried to own your story. You are speaking over your family, your children, your future generations. You are agreeing with heaven. The curse ends here. Why these words? Because they carry finality. They are not tentative. They are not hopeful guesses. They are a decree, aligning your voice with Christ's finished work on the cross. When you say, chains are broken, you are not asking, you are proclaiming what is already true in the Spirit. Chosen one. Never underestimate the ripple effect of your obedience. You are not just living for yourself. You are a doorway for yourself. You are a doorway, a bridge, a breaker. Through you, what once enslaved will become history, and what once seemed impossible will become the new normal. Your children will walk lighter because you carried the heavy. Your family will breathe freer because you chose to fight. And when the story is told, heaven will say, "This was the one who broke the chain. It, chosen one." You have been placed in dark places, not as punishment, but as positioning. Just as a lamp has no purpose in daylight, but transforms an entire room when the night falls. Your presence is designed for shadows. Darkness only proves how bright your light truly is. You may have wondered why your path led through valleys where despair seemed thick, where hope seemed absent. But heaven's plan was not to bury you there, it was to ignite you. Chosen one. The valleys you walked through were never wasted ground. They became the very places where your flame learned endurance. In those nights of heaviness, when silence felt louder than comfort, heaven was training you to glow without depending on applause, to burn without needing recognition. Just as a diamond forms under pressure and a pearl is born within struggle, so your light was forged in difficulty. Now, when you shine, it is not fragile brightness, it is unshakable fire. The Word of God declares in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." This is your story. No matter how thick the darkness, it cannot extinguish the flame you carry. Think of yourself as a lighthouse on a stormy shore. Ships lost in fog and waves cannot see the land. But the beam from your tower cuts through the night, guiding them safely home. That is why your presence matters where others feel hopeless. You are a living signpost of God's mercy. Or picture yourself as salt in a meal. On its own, salt looks small, almost insignificant. Yet once it touches food, it changes everything. In the same way, your life may seem ordinary in the eyes of the world, but when you enter a place filled with bitterness or despair, you shift the entire atmosphere. But carrying this light is costly. Darkness resists it. Shadows push back. Sometimes it feels like you are drained, pouring out more than you receive. This is why I must speak from the heart. Chosen one, just as you carry the light, this flame itself also needs to be sustained. Imagine a torch burning through a long night. It cannot survive without oil. The fire may be strong, but without supply, it flickers. Every word you hear here, every message poured into your spirit, is like oil being placed in your lamp, and oil has to be replenished. That is why I humbly invite you, if this message has nourished you, to respond in ways that keep the flame alive. When you press like, it is as though you place another log on the fire, helping it burn stronger and brighter for others to see. When you share, it is like carrying your own candle into another home, spreading the same flame into places I cannot reach alone. And when you subscribe, you are not just following, you are building a community of lighthouses, chosen ones, burning side by side, forming a wall of light that darkness cannot breach. And yes, if your heart feels led, even your donations become sacred oil poured into the lamp. Do not see it as losing something, see it as planting a seed into the soil of light. A single seed, when buried, multiplies into harvest. In the same way, what you give ensures this flame continues to shine, reaching souls wandering in their own storms. Think of it as a river. When you drink from a river that quenches your thirst, you also want that river to flow freely so others can drink. Your support, whether by giving, by sharing, by engaging, becomes like streams feeding into that river, ensuring it never runs dry. Chosen one, I speak to you plainly. This light we share together is not mine alone. It is ours. Your presence here proves it. Your agreement sustains it. Your actions multiply it. Do not underestimate the power of unity. One candle can warm a small corner, but many candles together can set an entire city ablaze. The enemy's greatest fear is not one light burning, it is lights uniting. That is why your participation matters. When you respond, when you pour in, you are not just supporting, you are declaring, this flame must not go out. And so walk boldly into dark places, knowing you carry the presence of heaven. And if your spirit is stirred, act with sincerity, press like, share this message, so another heart may see the light. Subscribe, so you remain connected. And if you feel led, donate as an act of watering the well. Every gesture, no matter how small, becomes part of heaven's strategy to pierce the darkness. Remember, you are not just surviving the night, you are transforming it. Your flame is living proof that Christ's light cannot be overcome. Chosen one. There are moments when the weight of your journey makes you feel utterly alone. You wonder if anyone truly sees the battles you fight in silence, the burdens you carry without complaint, but heaven has never left you without help. Just as angels ministered to Jesus in his wilderness and in his agony, so too are divine beings dispatched to strengthen and guard you. You may not always see them with your eyes, but their presence surrounds you like an invisible army. Every narrow escape, every sudden protection, every moment you survived what should have ended you, these were not coincidences. These were the fingerprints of angels on assignment. While you slept, they stood watch. While you wept, they whispered courage. While you fought unseen wars, they shielded you from strikes you never knew were coming. Remember when Jesus fasted 40 days in the desert? Satan himself came to tempt him at his weakest. Yet, after the enemy fled, angels came and attended to him. This is the same rhythm of your life. After the storm, the ministering presence arrives. After the long night, unseen hands strengthen you. After the attack, reinforcements restore you. The writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 91, verse 11 declare, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." This is not poetry, it is promise. Heaven has given orders regarding your life. You are not wandering unprotected. You are escorted. Chosen one. Think of the times you felt an unexplainable peace in the midst of chaos, or a sudden boldness when fear should have crippled you. That was not random, that was angelic presence infusing you with strength. Angels do not always announce themselves with blinding light. Often, they move quietly, reinforcing your spirit, realigning your focus, reminding you that heaven is near. Sometimes their presence is revealed through people who show up at the exact moment you needed help. A stranger offering kindness, a friend calling when despair pressed hardest. a door opening when every other was closed. These too may be angelic assignments. For heaven often wraps its messengers in human form. Chosen one. Your journey is not solitary because you were never meant to carry this mantle alone. Even Jesus, Son of God, was ministered to by angels. How much more will the Father ensure his chosen ones are supported? This does not mean you will never face battles. It means you will never face them unguarded. And here is the deeper mystery. Angels do not only protect you from harm, they also war on your behalf. You have walked into rooms unaware of the spiritual conflict raging above you. Yet, without your knowledge, angels have been contending for your destiny, dismantling schemes, scattering plans of destruction. You are standing here today because battles you never saw were already won. Do not dismiss the quiet miracles of your survival. The car accident that almost happened, but didn't. The sickness that threatened but could not linger. The despair that nearly swallowed you but lifted just in time. These are signs of divine reinforcement. Heaven's soldiers, keeping you in step with your calling. Chosen one. I want you to grasp this truth. You are valuable enough for heaven to assign an army. You may feel small in the eyes of the world, but you are significant enough for angels to be dispatched. Do not live as though you are vulnerable prey. Walk with the awareness that you are under command-level protection. And yet, angels are not the source of your strength. They are the servants of the one who called you. Their presence reminds you that heaven itself is invested in your journey. They obey the voice of God and move in alignment with His purpose for you, which means, as long as you walk in His will, you walk under angelic covering. Chosen one. You are not fragile. You are not unguarded. You are surrounded by help you cannot always see. The nights of loneliness were not abandoned nights. They were nights filled with unseen guardians. The battles that nearly broke you were never fought alone. Reinforcements stood beside you. And even now, as you continue your path, angels march with you, carrying out the orders of heaven's throne. Let this truth steady you. You are never outnumbered. You may see the enemy's army, but remember the words spoken long ago, that those who are with you are greater than those against you. And those with you do not leave. Do not tire. Do not fail. So walk on. Chosen one. Your steps are not your own. They are guarded. Your battles are not yours alone. They are reinforced. And your destiny is not fragile. It is defended by the armies of heaven. Chosen one. Every test you face is not an accident. It is fire designed to refine you. Obedience is not proven in easy moments, but in costly ones. When surrender hurts. When faith feels impossible. When silence from heaven stretches your endurance. The road you walk is not random. It is the same road Christ walked. And if you are truly His reflection, you must also pass through the fire of obedience. Chosen one. Understand this deeply. The fire does not expose your weakness, it reveals your strength. When everything comfortable is stripped away, when the voices around you fall silent, when only your faith remains, then the true foundation of your spirit is revealed. Fire is heaven's mirror, showing you who you really are. And though it feels fierce, it forges in you a resilience and purity no storm can ever erase. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Elijah. Chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow Him. This question echoes into your life today. Obédience demande décision. You cannot carry the likeness of Christ and live divided. You must choose. And that choice often comes in the form of fire. Remember Abraham, commanded to place his promised son upon the altar. That was not cruelty, it was a test of obedience. A refining fire that proved his faith was real. Remember Daniel, refusing to bow even when lions waited. That was fire. Remember Jesus in Gethsemane, where his soul was sorrowful unto death, yet his lips declared, "Not my will, but yours be done." That was obedience in its purest fire. Chosen one, you too have been tested. You have faced situations where compromise looked easier, where silence seemed safer, where disobedience whispered comfort. Yet each time you chose obedience, even in trembling, your spirit grew stronger. Your reflection of Christ shone brighter. The fire of obedience is never meant to destroy you. It is meant to purify you. Like gold placed in the furnace, your impurities burn away, leaving only brilliance. Your doubts, your fears, your selfish desires, they are pressed and purified, until what remains is the image of Christ. Do not fear the fire. Welcome it, for it is proof of your identity as chosen. Think of how far you've come. Once, small tests shook you. Now, you stand stronger. Once, fear paralyzed you. Now, faith rises more quickly. Each test has been a staircase, lifting you higher into destiny. The fire was never your ending, it was your promotion. Chosen one, there is glory hidden in obedience. What looks like loss in the moment becomes gain in the long run. What feels like surrender of dreams becomes inheritance of promises. The fire is painful, yes, but it is also sacred. Every flame that touches you carries heaven's permission and heaven's purpose. You are not burned aimlessly, you are refined intentionally. It is time to shift your perspective. Stop seeing tests as punishments and begin seeing them as confirmations. Heaven tests what it intends to trust. The weight of your calling requires strength, and strength only comes through fire. Each test is God saying, "I am preparing you for more. I am shaping you for glory." Do you sense it? Chosen one, the fire you have walked through is not ordinary. Others may collapse under what you endured, yet you remain. Others may curse the fire, yet you find in it a strange presence of God. That is because you are not like the rest. You were built to reflect Jesus, and fire is part of your inheritance. And now, beloved, I invite you into a prophetic act to seal this truth. Type the number 555 the comments below. This is not just digits, it is declaration. 5 is the number of grace, and by writing it 3 times, you proclaim, "Grace carried me through the fire. Grace refined me. Grace will reveal the glory." And when you type it, do not type casually. Let it be your covenant with heaven. Let it say, "I accept the fire. I embrace the refining. I trust the process. For grace is the hand that held you in the flames and the breath that will lift you into glory." Chosen one, obedience is not chains, it is wings. The fire is not your enemy, it is your proving ground. And every flame you endure becomes another testimony that you are not weak, not forgotten, not abandoned. You are refined. You are chosen. You are carrying Christ's likeness into the world. Chosen one, There is a truth you must engrave into your spirit. Destiny cannot be denied. No matter the schemes of the enemy, no matter the delays you have endured, no matter how many obstacles rise before you, what heaven has written over your life will stand. The hand that formed you before time itself is the same hand guarding your future. Sometimes it feels as though your journey has been stolen, as though your years have been wasted, as though opportunities slipped away forever. But you must remember that the God who called you is also the God who redeems time. What seems like loss becomes preparation. What looks like delay becomes alignment. What feels like denial is often heaven's redirection, steering you toward the very place you were meant to be. Look back at the story of Joseph, betrayed by brothers, sold into slavery, forgotten in prison. His life looked like a string of failures, but each twist was secretly weaving him closer to his throne. Had he not been rejected, he would not have been positioned in Egypt. Had he not been imprisoned, he would not have been remembered by Pharaoh's servant. And without Pharaoh's dream, his gift would have remained hidden. Joseph's destiny looked denied, but it was unfolding with divine precision. So it is with you, chosen one. The detours, the betrayals, the disappointments, they are not the end of your calling. They are part of its unfolding. Every no was making room for the right yes. Every closed door was directing you to the one door only heaven can open. Every delay was training your spirit for the weight of glory about to be revealed. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 57, "But thanks be to God, He gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ." Victory is not something you must beg for, it is already secured. The cross was not just about forgiveness of sin, it was about the guarantee of triumph, because Christ's victory is your inheritance. Defeat cannot write your story. Chosen one, you must shift how you see your life. Stop interpreting setbacks as proof of failure. They are not detours away from destiny. They are stepping stones toward it. Each obstacle you faced was allowed not to destroy you, but to develop you. Every battle sharpened your discernment. Every wound deepened your compassion. Every storm anchored your faith. Destiny is not fragile. It cannot be erased by human failure or delayed by demonic schemes. Even your mistakes. Yes, even the seasons you regret cannot cancel your calling. Think of Peter, who denied Christ 3 times. By human measure, his destiny should have ended in shame. Yet Jesus restored him, entrusted him with feeding the flock, and Peter's shadow later healed the sick. His destiny could not be denied, because the one who authored it is faithful to complete it. So too, with you, you may carry scars. You may remember failures. You may still wrestle with doubts. But none of these can stop what God has decreed. His word does not return void. His plans are not erased by your weakness. His promises are not dependent on your perfection. Destiny is not a fragile thread. It is a chain forged in heaven. Unbreakable, unshakable, unstoppable. Chosen one. Walk with assurance. The storm may roar, but it cannot sink what God has built. The enemy may accuse, but he cannot overturn heaven's decree. People may resist, but they cannot cancel what was written before their voices ever rose. Destiny is not waiting for approval. It is already signed by the King of Kings. You are being led to places prepared for you long before you were born. And when the moment of unveiling comes, It will make sense why the journey was so hard, why the battles were so fierce, why the waiting was so long, because the crown you will wear, the glory you will carry, requires a vessel that has been tested, refined, and proven. Chosen one, breathe this truth. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. You may feel the weapon. You may see it raised, but it will not prosper. You may walk through fire, but you will not be consumed. You may endure delay, but you will not be denied. For destiny is not a fragile hope. It is a finished decree. Hold your head high. Your story is not at the mercy of chaos. It is held in the hands of the author who never loses control. And what he has promised will surely come to pass. Chosen one, there is a mystery hidden in your tongue. Words may seem small, invisible after they leave your lips, but in the spirit they are mighty forces building, breaking, planting, uprooting. The same God who created the heavens and the earth by speaking has placed in you a reflection of that creative power. You carry authority in your words, and when you release them in alignment with heaven, they reshape the very atmosphere around you. Consider how Jesus moved. He did not wrestle with demons using hands or weapons. He spoke, and they fled. He did not argue with storms. He commanded them to be still, and the waves obeyed. Even death itself responded to his voice. As Lazarus walked out of the grave when Christ cried, "Come forth, chosen one," that same Spirit dwells in you. And though your voice may sound ordinary to human ears, in the unseen, it carries the thunder of heaven. When you open your mouth, chosen one, you are not simply releasing sound, you are releasing spirit. Each word you speak becomes like arrows flying into unseen realms, striking targets beyond your sight. Some arrows heal, some arrows defend, some arrows destroy the works of darkness. That is why your speech carries such weight. Even casual words ripple through eternity, shaping realities yet unseen. Heaven waits for your agreement, and creation listens for your voice. The Book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 21, proclaims, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." This truth is not poetic metaphor, it is law. Every word you speak sows into reality, birthing either blessing or destruction. That is why the enemy has always tried to twist your tongue, tempting you to curse yourself, to belittle your worth, to echo despair. He knows that if you ever truly understood your authority, you would shake his kingdom with your speech. Think of how your words have already shaped your life. Times you declared defeat, heaviness followed. Times you spoke faith, doors opened. Times you whispered prayers in your weakness. Strength rose from nowhere. Your words are not empty, they are containers of power. They build bridges for heaven's will or walls that block it. Chosen one, heaven calls you to guard your tongue, not in fear, but in reverence. Knowing it is a weapon of glory, speak with intention. Bless your days instead of cursing them. Declare healing over your body instead of repeating pain. Prophesy freedom over your family instead of echoing the chains you see. Align your lips with God's promises, and you will watch reality bend to his word. There is also authority in silence. Jesus, when accused falsely, did not waste his words in defense. His silence itself carried weight. dismantling lies without giving them power. You too must discern when to speak and when to stay still, for even your restraint becomes spiritual warfare. Silence can suffocate gossip, starve doubt, and starve the enemy of attention. Do not underestimate the simplicity of your declarations. Saying, "I am chosen," daily realigns your spirit. Speaking, "Peace be still," over chaos shifts your atmosphere. Declaring, "God is faithful in the valley," pierces the darkness. These are not mere affirmations, they are spiritual decrees, backed by the authority of the Spirit living in you. Remember Ezekiel, commanded to prophesy to dry bones. Logic said they could not live, but his obedience in speaking brought flesh, breath, and armies out of dust. In the same way, your words have the capacity to resurrect what looks dead, dreams buried by time, hope crushed by disappointment, callings silenced by fear. They can all rise again when you prophesy in faith. Chosen one, your authority in words is not for selfish gain, but for kingdom purpose. Use it to uplift, to heal, to restore. Do not waste it in complaints or bitterness. Every idle word is a wasted seed, but every faith-filled word is a tree that will one day shelter many. Speak as one who carries eternity in their breath. And when you pray, do not think of your voice as bouncing off ceilings. It pierces realms. Angels respond to it. Darkness trembles at it. Heaven records it. Even your quietest whisper in faith echoes like thunder in the Spirit. That is why prayer matters. That is why your declarations matter. You are not voiceless, you are a herald of heaven. Chosen one. Take ownership of your tongue. Let your words match your destiny. Speak life into places where death has lingered too long. Declare victory over battles still raging. Prophesy glory into seasons yet to come. For you do not speak alone. The Spirit of Christ within you speaks through you. And when heaven speaks, nothing remains the same. Chosen one. A time is coming when the world will no longer overlook you. For years, you have walked hidden, carrying weight in silence, misunderstood even by those closest to you. But just as Christ was revealed in glory after his season of rejection, your unveiling will arrive, and when it does, your true nature will be undeniable. The light you carry will not only be seen but felt, stirring those around you into awareness that heaven is near. Think of the sunrise. The night cannot resist it, no matter how long the darkness lingers. Once the horizon begins to glow, the world shifts. Shadows retreat. Colors return. Life awakens. You are that sunrise. Chosen one. You are stepping into a season where the dawn within you will break forth, and those who doubted you, those who dismissed you, will have no choice but to see the radiance of God in your life. And when that moment comes, chosen one, it will be like watching a seed finally break the soil after years hidden beneath the earth. Those who thought you were buried will realize you were being planted. The same voices that dismissed you will marvel at the strength of your rising. Your unveiling will not be quiet. It will be a testimony, a living witness that God never forgets his chosen ones. And that light, once ignited, cannot be hidden. The writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 34, verse 5. Declare, those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. This is not about recognition for yourself, but revelation of him. Your unveiling is not for ego. it is for kingdom. The attention you will draw is not to your name, but to the one who marked you from the beginning, chosen one. Understand this. When the world begins to recognize you, pressure will come with it. Just as crowds gathered around Jesus, not only for his words, but also for his miracles. People will be drawn to you for what you carry. Some will seek healing. Some will seek answers. Some will simply seek light in their darkness. This is why your hidden years mattered. They forged in you the strength to carry visibility without being consumed by it. But here is where I must speak to you from the heart. Just as your unveiling brings greater reach, it also requires greater support. A torch shining on a hill may look beautiful, but without oil, its flame weakens. These words, "This light poured into you," are torches, and just as torches need oil to continue burning, this work too needs sustenance. When you press like, it is like adding another breath of oxygen to the flame, keeping it alive for others who stumble in the night. When you share, it is as though you are carrying your own candle into another soul's home, spreading warmth where coldness reigned. When you subscribe, you are not just joining, you are becoming part of a family of lights, a constellation that darkness cannot silence. And yes, if your heart feels stirred, even your donations become sacred fuel for the fire. Imagine a well in the desert. Every drop of water poured into it ensures the thirsty can drink again tomorrow. Your giving is not lost, it is poured into the well, sustaining this stream of words that continues to refresh others wandering in dry lands. I speak this with humility, not compulsion. You are free. Yet, if you sense the Spirit nudging you, then act not for me, but for the sake of those who still need to hear what you have heard. Together, we carry the flame further. Chosen one. I also invite you to respond with your heart. Write in the comments below, "I rise now." Just 3 words. Yet they carry weight. They are not casual. They are declaration. When you type them, you are proclaiming that your season of hiding is over, that your true identity is breaking forth like dawn. You are agreeing with heaven's timing. You will not shrink back. You will not blend in. You will rise. Why write it? Because words spoken or written are never wasted. They shape reality. When you declare, "I rise now," you are stepping into alignment with what heaven has already decreed. You are placing your signature beneath God's promise, and when you do, the atmosphere around you shifts. Chosen one. The world will soon recognize you, not because you sought fame, but because you carried fire faithfully in secret. Your unveiling will not be about applause, but about assignment. You are called to be seen, so that Christ may be revealed through you. Walk humbly, shine boldly, and let every act of support, every comment, every gift of encouragement become fuel for the light that will pierce this generation's night. Chosen one. Your story is not ending in struggle, it is moving toward coronation. For just as Christ bore the crown of thorns before he received the crown of glory, so too your journey has been a preparation for honor. Every moment of suffering, every season of waiting, every valley of tears has been weaving the crown that will one day rest upon your head. It is not a crown of man's applause or earthly riches, it is the crown of heaven's recognition, the reward of faithfulness. And know this, chosen one, every hidden sacrifice, every quiet prayer, every unseen act of faith has been counted in heaven's record. Nothing was wasted. Each thread of pain and perseverance has been woven together into the radiant crown prepared for you. The writings in the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 10. Declare, be faithful, even to the point of death, and I will give you life as your victor's crown. This is not a symbolic encouragement. It is a prophetic guarantee. The crown is real, eternal, and reserved for you, because you did not abandon your calling even when the weight felt unbearable. Chosen one, you must see your trials in a new light. They were not the signs of God's displeasure. They were the training ground for glory. A crown is not given to one who never fought, who never endured, who never resisted. It is given to the one who pressed on through the battle, who chose obedience in the fire, who stood when everything else told them to fall. You are such a one. Your scars are not shame. They are proof of your perseverance. The crown you will wear is not merely personal, it is generational. Just as Christ's victory was not for himself alone, but for all humanity, so too your crown will carry blessings that overflow to others. Your endurance has broken chains, not only for yourself, but for those who come after you. Your obedience has planted seeds that will bear fruit in families, in communities, in generations. When you receive your crown, others will taste its glory. Do not think of the crown as something far away in eternity only. Already, heaven places honor upon you. Already, the Spirit marks you as one distinguished, set apart. The crown of life begins now. In the way peace rests upon you, even in storms. In the way wisdom flows from your lips. In the way light surrounds you, though you walk in dark places. The final crown will one day be placed in fullness, but its beginnings are already visible. Chosen one, learn to walk with dignity even before the crown is seen by others. Carry yourself as one who knows their worth, not in arrogance, but in holy assurance. The world may not yet see the crown, but heaven already does, and heaven's recognition is greater than earth's applause. Think of how Jesus endured the cross. Scripture says that for the joy set before him, he despised its shame. What was that joy? The crown, the throne, the victory. And so he endured the nails, the mockery, the agony. You too must endure with the vision of your crown. Every time you feel weary, remember what awaits. Every time you feel crushed, lift your eyes to the promise, for the weight of the crown will make the weight of the cross worthwhile. Chosen one, your crown is not only for eternity, it is also a mantle of authority here on earth. Already you carry influence in the Spirit. Already your prayers shift atmospheres. Already your words open pathways. The crown is not only about future glory, but about present responsibility. To wear it is to walk in humility, to serve with love, to shine with purity. Heaven crowns not for ego, but for assignment. And here is the beautiful mystery. When the crown is finally placed in fullness, you will lay it down again at the feet of the King, just as the elders do in Revelation. For even the crown is not ultimately yours, it is his glory reflected in you. The honor belongs to him, yet he chooses to share it with you, his chosen one. So walk forward with courage. Your crown is secure. It is not threatened by failure, not diminished by delay, not stolen by the enemy. It is preserved in heaven and growing brighter each day you persevere. Soon, chosen one, the crown will rest upon your head. and the world will see what heaven has always known. You are marked for glory. Chosen one. History is moving toward a climax, and you are part of that unfolding story. The return of Christ is not just a distant promise, but a reality drawing closer with every passing day. And in this divine plan, there is a company of marked ones, reflections of Jesus, who will rise in the final hour carrying his power, his likeness, his authority. You are one of them. You are not a spectator, you are a participant in the last days. From the beginning, God has reserved a remnant for himself in every generation. When darkness threatened to overtake, heaven raised up voices, lights, chosen vessels. Noah built an ark while the world mocked. Moses confronted Pharaoh's empire with nothing but a staff and obedience. Esther stood in a palace, risking her life for her people. Each time, chosen ones arose, and through them, the purposes of God prevailed. Now, it is your time. The Apostle John recorded in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 11, "They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death." This is the identity of the marked ones, you included. You overcome not by strength of flesh, but by the power of Christ within you, and by the testimony of what he has done in your life. Chosen one. The power you carry is not for comfort, but for confrontation. You are called to disrupt darkness, to carry the authority of Jesus into places bound by fear, to be a mirror of his presence in a world desperate for light. Your life itself becomes a testimony, the scars you bear, the battles you've survived, the faith you still cling to. These speak louder than sermons. They are living evidence that Jesus is alive in you. The enemy knows his time is short, and that is why the pressure on your life has felt so intense. It is not because you are weak, it is because you are dangerous. You stand as proof that no curse, no chain, no generational shadow can outlast the power of Christ. Your existence is a threat to the darkness, because you remind it of its defeat at Calvary. Chosen one. See yourself rightly. You are not fragile. You are fortified. You are not wandering. You are appointed. You are not merely human. You are infused with the divine spirit. You are the reflection of Jesus on earth. A second copy carrying his authority until the day he returns. This is why the atmosphere shifts when you pray. This is why hope rises when you speak. This is why the broken find healing when you stand with them. The return of the marked ones is not about celebrity or recognition. It is about obedience, holiness, and surrender. It is about walking in the likeness of Christ with humility, yet with undeniable authority. It is about being the salt that preserves and the light that pierces through thickest night. The world does not need more noise. It needs carriers of presence, and you are one of them, chosen one. Your role is not small. Every time you resist temptation, you echo Christ's victory. Every time you forgive, you mirror his mercy. Every time you proclaim truth, you wield his sword. This is what it means to be a marked one. Your very life becomes a continuation of his ministry. Soon, the unveiling of the chosen company will be clear. Ordinary men and women, hidden until now, will rise, shining with unusual boldness, carrying miracles, speaking words that cut through lies, walking in authority that cannot be ignored. You will be among them. not because of your perfection, but because of your surrender. Take courage. Beloved, the story does not end with your struggle, it ends with your victory. The same Christ who carried the cross to the grave rose in glory, and his reflection in you will rise also. The last days will not be ruled by fear, but by a people marked with his image, crowned with his glory, moving with his power. You are counted in that number, chosen one. You are part of heaven's final movement. You will rise as a mirror of Jesus, carrying his divine power into the closing chapters of this world's history. The darkness cannot silence you. Death cannot hold you. Fear cannot chain you. For the same Spirit that raised Christ lives in you. And your destiny is secure. Chosen one. If you have walked with me through every section of this journey, then you know, now with certainty, you were never ordinary. You were never random. You were always marked as a reflection of Christ, carrying his likeness, his power, his destiny, from the hidden years to the refining fires, from the valleys of rejection to the promise of crowns. Your story has been one long preparation for glory. You are the second copy of Jesus, called not to blend in, but to shine. But hear me clearly, this light must keep burning, and flames never survive alone. Just as torches need oil, just as rivers need streams, just as seeds need soil. This work continues only as we walk together. If these words have stirred you, if they have reminded you of who you truly are, then I ask you from the heart, don't just receive, respond, press like. And it is as though you place one more stone on the altar, declaring this flame must keep rising. Share this message, and you carry the torch into another life, still stumbling in darkness. Subscribe, and you plant yourself in a family of chosen ones who refuse to walk alone. And if you feel led, even your donations become sacred water poured into a well, ensuring the thirsty will always find refreshment here. And I ask you, beloved, leave a comment below. Let your words be your seal. Speak your declaration. Let heaven and earth see it written through your fingertips. You are chosen. You are marked. You are rising. This is not the end, it is the beginning. Together, let us carry this light until the world is set ablaze with the reflection of Christ shining through his chosen ones.